Good evening, everyone, and I want to thank all of you for your hospitality. I've been in Paducah and Benton and the general area here now 3 times in the last 7 days, and a lot of you folks are starting to look like family, so I'm really excited about that. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a businessman from Louisville. I've been married for 13 years to my wife, Christy, and we have 4 adopted kids. We're Christian conservatives, we're fiscal conservatives, and as far as my platform goes, we're constitutional conservatives. My running mate is Mike Harmon out of Danville. He's a state representative. Since 2002, he's represented Boyle County very well, with a very good voting record, very conservative, and I'm happy to have him as part of the ticket. Now, when I've been out in front of some people now, and the question I get asked most is, why do you want to run? And the truth is, it's the frustration. You know, I've lived in Kentucky all my life. For decades, I've watched, we're ranked 30th or 40th or even 50th in just about every reasonable measurement that happens when you compare one state to another. And there are just some common sense things that we could change in this state that relatively quickly would catapult us up well beyond where we are today. And that's what I want to do as your governor in 2011. Our platform has 4 corners, and the first corner of that platform is state sovereignty. You guys have watched, as I have, for the last year and a half or 2 years, the Obama administration and even the Bush administration prior to that just dumped one federal program on us after another, many of them unfunded. And our current governor doesn't look at those, our government doesn't look at those at the state level and say, are they constitutional? What they do is they just accept it. And we need to stop that practice. We need to turn it around. Yep. Every time a federal program or mandate comes down, we need to turn and look at it and determine whether it's constitutional. And if it's not, we need to fight it like crazy. The second corner of our platform is jobs in the economy. If you guys read the papers, you see that companies are leaving California, New Jersey, and New York by the hordes. They're not thinking about Kentucky as their new home. And the reason they're not thinking about Kentucky is our business environment isn't any better than the one that they're trying to leave. And we need to change that. And how we change that is specifically through our tax code. We have over 240 different state taxes, fees, and surcharges. And we need to strip out every one of those and replace it with a single rate consumer sales tax on all goods and services. No exceptions. Every industry pays, every person pays. It's transparent, it's easy to understand, and it will make us the most competitive state in this region to attract businesses and to grow the businesses that we have today. We'll be the most attractive state in that region, if not the nation. The next corner of our platform is education. And this is one of my pet projects in my life. About 13 years ago, I started a scholarship program in Jefferson County called School Choice Scholarships. And we've given scholarships to over 3,000 children to get them out of Jefferson County's failing public school system and get them in the private schools. And let me tell you, the kids that come into our program, we test them at the beginning and end of each year in reading and math. And on average, the kid that comes out of public school into our program, 40% of them can read at grade level. And after 3 years in the school that they choose, 96% of them can read at grade level. When you look at math, you have similar returns. Coming into the program, about 28% can do math at grade level, and after 3 years, 81% can do math at grade level. That's an incredible turnaround, and the only change is the parents were able to take their kids out of a school that was failing and put it into a school that they chose, and they prospered. And we need to make that same type of choice available to all of our public school students. Let me tell you, 1/3 of our students drop out of school before they graduate. And of those that graduate, 60% need remedial education before they can enter one of our own state colleges or university. So when you strip away the failure and you strip away the mediocrity, we are educating 1 out of 4 of our kids well enough to enter the workforce or college without any additional help. 1 out of 4. And when you add up the funding that we get for education, you take the local dollars, the state dollars, and the federal dollars, and we bring in just under $13,000 a kid in funding. And we're getting a 1 out of 4 success rate. That has to change. And the way that changes is we have a system right now in the education world where no one can be blamed for anything. No one can be held accountable for anything. And we need to change that and drive responsibility and accountability down to the district level, where your superintendent is responsible for the performance of your schools. And you need to be involved in your local school district races to make sure that superintendent does their job. If you don't get involved in that regard, you get what you deserve. So you need to get busy on that. The next thing we need to do is give the classroom back to the kid. Back to the kids, goodness. Let's give the classroom back to the teachers. Teachers right now have very little control over their classroom. Kids can be chronically disruptive and fear absolutely no punishment. And the teacher has to waste time correcting a kid that won't behave over and over, and that degrades the time for all other students in that classroom. We need to give the teacher that classroom back, allow them to do the things that they need to do, and change the curriculum if the kids aren't coming up to speed. And we need to get rid of the saying, reteach to the test. We need to get rid of that. The next part of the education and the last part is we need to give parents choice in public education. If your child is in a public school and your child is not doing well, and I don't care for what reason your child is not doing well, you should be able to take your child out of that public school and move them to another public school regardless of district until you find the school that is best for your kid. It is no different than when you choose a restaurant. If you go to a restaurant and don't like it, you leave and go to one that you do. Competition is a good thing. It drives down cost, it drives up quality, and we absolutely need that in our public school systems. The final corner of our platform is state government. It needs to be smaller, it needs to be efficient, and it needs to quit putting us in debt. I want to appoint if you guys remember the federal base closing commissions that were around a few years ago, where they took a bipartisan group and they looked at the federal base, the military bases across the country, and they decided which ones they needed to eliminate or consolidate, and basically made the whole system more efficient. We need to do exactly the same thing in our state government. We need to look in every corner. We need to consolidate back office functions and cabinets. We need to get rid of unneeded programs or unnecessary programs. And we need to outsource as many state functions as possible to private industry. Because private industry is where jobs are created, not in government. And we need more of that, and the state government needs to participate. So, and through the savings that we get through our base closing commission, we need to reduce our debt and shore up a public employee pension plan that is tens of billions of dollars behind. They're underfunded so badly. Honestly, I don't know how we have a AAA rating on any given bond that the state supports, because we currently have more debt to the tune of about 4 times of our current revenue. We have that much debt, and we just can't continue to pile that on. Now, I want to leave you with one final thought, and this is my theory in governing. Government should serve at the feet of the people the same way we Christians serve at the foot of the cross. Amen. And we need that. We need that attitude in practice, and I will be the